Okay, it's that time of year again for me to inspect my fluid film protection that I put on when this truck was 5 days old in 2017. I got my helper here. And we will see. That must be, it's a different one. The other one practically sticks her nose in my pocket. Anyway, I've got my 3-ton jack under the lower control arm and 2 jack stands. I wanted to check the brakes. And they're fine. They're still the originals. All right. So, let's look around. I sprayed in every hole on this frame. I don't have any visible rust even in those holes. Let's take a peek underneath. I'm not gonna climb under there with just a jack holding it up in the stands. The cemetery's half full of people that did that. It is now 2024, and I only rust-proofed this truck one time when it was 5 days old. I took my time. Well, I guess I should word that I rust-proofed it from the time it was 5 days old until it was 10 days old, because I took my time and took 5 days, taking my time. I pulled out these fender liners, which was easy. I added these flares off of eBay. I think they were, I forget how much they were, 40 bucks. Of course, that was before the virus. But let's take a peek underneath. Now, I have a video on YouTube of one of these trucks that's in really sad shape. I got a little bit right there. I must have hit a rock or scraped something. I don't see any damage on the body there where it meets. I took these brackets off so that I could get fluid film between the bracket and the frame. I really sprayed these fuel tank straps. Nothing sticks to the drive shafts. I keep spraying it year after year if I come under here to touch up. But I pulled all of these plugs. I think there's 16 or so along both rocker panels. And you see how there's a scrape there? All right, when this fluid film was new, it was traveling. Now, I had a few drips where I parked the truck out in the street there. I mean, in the end of my driveway on the asphalt. They were no bigger than a quarter. And it would run down my headlights as it came out of the I got up in there and it would streak down the headlights. And nothing serious, it just wiped off. I mean, it's only lanolin. It's no miracle chemical or anything like that. It's a byproduct of processing sheep. It's not even bad for your skin. Here, you can see evidence of a little bit. See how that wipes off? But I sprayed up in the corners. I pulled these headlights out. I pulled the taillights out. Now my truck's filthy. I'm not a truck washer. I wash the salt off in the spring and that's it. Then I'll wash the truck and wax it just before winter in November. I did a video about how this stuff traveled in the bed of my truck. Let's see how that looks right now. Okay. I sprayed under the bed. I did not spray in the bed. You really can't tell too much, but it traveled in that hole there with the tie-down hook, and I didn't even realize there was a seam in the floor, and the fluid film just leached up through there, uphill. You can see it a little bit right there, all along the strip here and on the other side, I think. Not very well. I took this panel off and sprayed inside that panel because I see these trucks. Here you can see the dirt sticks, but I see these trucks rotting out before your eyes. Okay, I sprayed inside the bumpers very well because my GMC, the first rust I noticed about a week after I bought the truck, I went to change the break-in oil, and inside my bumpers on my GMC, is this on? Yeah. Inside the bumpers on my GMC, right here, it looked like burnt toast. And I went to the GMC dealer where I just bought the truck, and I said, wait a minute, these bumpers aren't going to last. They said, we can't do anything until they rust a hole. You can see it still looks wet where I sprayed the fluid film 7 going on 8 years ago. Way up in there. It's still wet. And that is fine with me, because I see a lot of these trucks. That one I recorded, I had to go back and make a video of it, and I put it on YouTube. I don't even think that truck was safe to drive. I had some rust on this, whatever that is. That bar going across stabilizer or whatever. I don't know what that's called. I guess that's a stabilizer. I don't know what it's called, but anyway. Thank goodness for stainless exhaust. Because I remember back in the 80s, 70s and 80s, once your stock exhaust rusted off, you had to resort to Meineke or Speedy muffler or Monroe muffler, and those things rotted off in 2 to 3 years if you lived where they throw salt. I sprayed up inside here. I hand coated this wheel with my fingers to keep it from rusting. But anyway, I did this in 2017, and here it is, almost October of 2024, and it's still looking good. But yeah, the exhaust systems on those old cars didn't last very long. My trailer hitch, which is probably supplied by not the factory, but it's probably a supplier, and they get pretty rusty, especially inside. And I sprayed that with fluid film one time, and it's still holding up. Frame's looking good. You can see the salt baked on to my stainless exhaust. That's why I said thank goodness for stainless exhaust systems. Many people don't know this. I got a free exhaust on my wife's car. What was that? It was a Suzuki SX4. The exhaust system cracked near the catalytic converter. They were going to put a new one on, $1,100. And I pointed out to them that there's a federal law that the exhaust system has to last the original owner 10 years or 100,000 miles, whichever comes first. And they looked into it. They put that new exhaust on for free. Didn't rot off, it cracked. Like right here near the cat converter, and federal law says they have to last. That's why they've been making them out of stainless, because it's the law that they have to last 10 years for the original owner. So I took these taillights out, and I have the spray gun, and I sprayed in there, but there's bulkheads in here that you can't get past. So I made a long rubber tube that would go past the bulkheads. And I sprayed in these plugs up in these holes, up in the posts, and up the drain holes in the bottoms of the door. I sprayed, and what I used was, I'll get it, this attachment for the spray cans. This snaps on the top, and this has a jet on the end that doesn't make the fluid film come straight out. There's no hole on the end. The hole is around the sides, so it comes out sideways like a mushroom pattern. So when you stick it up in a hole, it doesn't go straight. It coats beside wherever this jet is. And I was able to go in the fenders, behind all the bulkheads. I was able to go up this post all the way. You can see how long it is. In all the holes under the hood, I was able to go in all the holes. But as you can see, my truck is filthy. Like I said, I'm not a washer. I wash it to do it some good, but I'm not, I don't primp over my vehicles. Let's see where else I was able to go. Yeah, I was able to stick this tool way in these holes. It's so bright out here today I can't really see. Okay, there we go. Yeah, this will go way, way in. And up the doors and up the holes. And from underneath on those rubber plugs under the rocker panels, I was able to go in with this tool. And what you want to do is push it all the way in and push the trigger and pull it out. And as you're pulling it out, it discharges and coats everything. I went up this post through that plug right there, all the way up. I had to be careful that I didn't spray too much up high because I didn't want to stain my headliner. And here you can see evidence of a little bit of run coming out of the door, and that doesn't bother me one bit. I'd rather see a little bit of stuff that'll wipe off. Watch, it'll wipe right off. I'd rather have that than rust, because once rust starts, it's already too late. So I'm happy going into my, let's see, I bought this in 17, so it had 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So it's the end of the 8th year going into the 9th year. 9th winter this thing will see. Now in the winter, before winter, I do coat my bumpers, my grill, and my wheels with fluid film. And I just put it on and I leave it there. I don't wipe it off. And it stays on there all winter. I don't wash my truck in the winter. I will hose off salt from the paint, but I don't use soap and water to clean the salt off because I'm concerned that it might rinse off the fluid film from the bumpers. I coated these bumpers, this bumper here. I coat the exhaust tips. That's actually the thing that attracted me to the Dodge more than the Fords. And I wasn't going to buy another GMC